What's going on, y'all? We back. Ron Pittman, Coastal Concierge Group. This one's going to be interesting. Setup's a little bit different. You know, we got some familiar faces, also some faces who aren't so familiar, but are definitely always been lurking in the background. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Y'all haven't seen her in a while, so.
Introduce myself.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. You always say you never let me say myself. All right, y'all. Y'all know who she is. You've seen her. She's been with me from the beginning, the very first one.
I like to lurk in the background.
Oh,
That's weird.
I was gonna say, is that what we doing?
Yeah.
Nah, but Jessica Lettieri, she's back. We haven't seen you in a. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. But it's funny. It's comforting, but at the same time, uncomforting because I don't think we've ever done it where we're on the same side of the table.
No,
so
we have not.
it's interesting. I don't think anyone's ever been on this side of the table. So as you know, as we move into it, it's.
Is the lighting better over here?
I don't know. Is this your side? We got your side. We got your side. Is that your side? Is that your shot?
Continue.
So anyway, you know, we got a lot going on, a lot of changes, which is why I only felt it was appropriate that you joined us on this one, guys. This is it.
Thank you.
This is it. This is actually going to be our last Coastal Concierge Group podcast, believe it or not. It's been quite a journey. We've been doing this for a little over year and a half now.
Yeah.
Lots of changes during that time. I think when we first started this, it was literally just me and you in a back office. So that sounds weird, but
It was.
We just had a small office.
Small
it was
yes.
me and you. We've now grown to a team of 10.
Yes.
Growing and moving, and lots of things have actually happened over the past
A couple
6
things.
months.
It's been an interesting ride.
It's been an
with
interesting
you.
year to say the least. You know.
I will say you are one of my best friends, though. So to preface this,
Well,
with
I appreciate
where
it.
you're about to go.
Well, before we even go there, let's take it back to the first episode when you kind of was giving me a little stuff about football at the time.
Yeah,
let's just catch up on that. You know, I think y'all were coming
You
off
know, I would always sit here and talk about football
all
with
day
you
long. We could do
without
this
any of this stuff
hours.
around. Yes,
we could do it for hours, but I
Let's
think y'all
talk
were
about
coming
some
off
football.
a Super Bowl. You were giving
it was
me,
a year. I was still riding the high from
You were,
the year
you were.
previously. Yes,
You were, and I think we were coming off a low. We switched it up, came back,
you did.
went to the Super Bowl.
You still
and,
didn't win.
Really?
But it's
I
okay.
did. Here we go. But I always got to get that little dig, stick it in there. But now we both kind of in the same boat. Y'all just had some changes and
Some changes.
yeah.
It was a rough year. My team is horrible.
Rough.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know. It's Philly though. It's a tough town.
Get
to
rid
be
of
in.
Peterson. It's like Wentz or Peterson had to go.
Looks like we know who got their ticket out of town.
Yes.
So,
But here's what happens. Look what happened to Andy Reid. He went and won a Super Bowl after they got rid of him. So watch Dougie go and get a Super Bowl somewhere else.
Watch Dougie go and get a Super Bowl somewhere else.
I like Doug. I'm kind of sad, you know.
Well, you know,
There's
all
some
good things
aging
must
players,
come to an end,
and
but
I don't know. They're a mess.
There's
they need to get
also-
it together. Somebody can fix Wentz, hopefully,
we'll
or
see.
not.
We'll see. He may just not have it anymore. But look, sometimes you gotta go to fly. You know. Speaking of which, I know what you were just saying. You know, so
Right.
let's just get the elephant in the room. You know, a lot of people don't even know this. Even though you started with us, everything you were the original.
Yes.
But you actually had a little journey yourself
I
where a
did.
lot of
Don't
people
we all
didn't
have
know.
our
We do,
journeys?
but
Yeah.
that's how we grow, you know.
I know.
So I don't know if most people even realize it, but you actually were gone for a little bit.
I
You
was
left
gone
us
for a
a
little.
little
Yeah,
bit.
I did.
You had the opportunity to explore some things,
Mm-hmm.
some other options. And now, look, of course, it's always love at the end of the day. So obviously we supported you the whole time. Nothing really changed between us or anybody else.
If anything, I think it made us better.
I do too. Definitely think it made it stronger. It made the
Sometimes
connection
growth
stronger.
is uncomfortable. Well, all growth, I think, is uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And yes, I think it definitely made us better, working together better. It made our friendship better too.
Yeah. It was because who knew? You know, we didn't know where this was going to go.
Right.
But the cool thing about it is, I think you made your way back.
I know where my home is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was always gonna say, what was it that you think ultimately brought you back? Was it that just that kind of
You know, I think a lot of people get in this business for money.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all of us do. Let's be honest, right? Yeah. The second part of it, and probably more important than the money, is culture. And we together, I feel like, developed that culture that we wanted other agents to feel. And you can't. Some things just happen organically.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with us. And you just can't recreate that.
You can't.
It's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to come home.
No matter how hard you try. Well, and we love it. I think, like you said, it was a test almost. It was something that we really didn't know how to navigate. And when you came back, I think it just made it that much stronger, and it really showed who we are as a unit, who we are as a team. And it's funny because we were just talking about the football teams. I heard something the other day. A lot of times we use the word family when we're talking about, business organizations and things like that. And it was funny because when I started the whole thing, I looked at it as how it was when I used to coach, coach football and basketball. And I think of it less as a fan because family can be dysfunctional.
No kidding.
At times.
I mean, we fight.
Family, we do.
I fight with you like my brother.
As opposed to a family, I think we're also more like a professional sports team, if you will. It's one of those things. We all have jobs to do.
Right.
What does Bill Belichick always say? Do your job, right?
Yes.
So we have that job, but you still have to have that trust. You still have to have that camaraderie. So it's kind of a meshing of the two, if you will. But I'm glad you're back.
Me too.
Especially now as we move to this next phase. So before we even go there, with all that's happened over the past, for us, I want to say 2, almost 3 years now, doing this, what do you think is one of the, I guess, biggest lessons that you've learned from it all, or you've gained from it all?
Oh, this past 12 months especially, I mean, has changed everyone, right?
Crazy.
And I think the biggest lesson, or one of the lessons, at least for me, probably don't sweat the small stuff anymore. I mean, all the things that we thought were big deals were a huge deal, prior to COVID, especially. Does it really matter?
Yeah.
Does any of it really matter? After these past 10 months, it's you got to appreciate the small things.
I agree. It's crazy. Now, the funny part is, with that being said, as we kind of went through this COVID journey, if you will, and I can't even say journey because we're not even done. We still don't know what's out there.
And I don't want to say new normal. I hate that.
You know what? I actually said that to somebody yesterday.
Don't say it.
I said the new normal, and I thought about it after I said it. And I was like, yeah, it's just, normal is normal. So interesting. We're talking journeys. We're talking new. We're talking the end. The end of the podcast, and just
what did you learn?
Ooh, man, I learned.
Put me on the spot. I want to know what you learned.
I learned a ton about relationships.
Yeah.
Trust. Like you said, don't sweat the small stuff. Really understanding what's important. I think when you left, there was a lot of people who initially came to me and were like, what's wrong? What happened?
Right. They want something there. It was hard. And I was sad.
Some stuff. Yeah, it was, it's different, but it was never a thing of something was wrong. It was growth. It was one of those things where sometimes you have to let people fly. You have to let them.
But people want to assume things, right?
Yeah. They always think it's something, it's negative or something like that, but it was all love. It was all positive. It's growth. And sometimes you have to leave the nest. In a sense, if you will, which actually kind of brings me back around to why this is the end of the podcast, and basically that's because
nobody watches. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know.
I'm kidding.
Oh, which is crazy though, because I did meet someone the other day. Never met her before. She was a friend of a friend, and she actually told me that she watches the podcast. She's watched every episode.
That's so sweet. Yes.
Even she went even so far to say is, I almost feel like I want to ask for your autograph, which was strange because this clearly isn't that. We're not that.
No.
Let's go. Let's be real. This whole thing started as what was it?
You know, I will bring everybody right back down to earth real quick.
Nah,
so
definitely nothing
no,
like
we're
that.
not there.
Let me see. When we going back to the very first episode, which was supposed to be a monthly market update, which we realized real quick was boring.
It was very boring.
Very
and I will say
boring.
this: thank you for getting me out of my comfort zone
Well,
through this year and a half, because this is not my comfort zone right here.
yeah,
for
but
sure.
you've I feel like you have made it there. You become more comfortable, but that's just something I think we all do. Is you've learned how to become comfortable being uncomfortable. You know.
Well, that's how you grow, right?
I was gonna say that's growth. You know. So there it is. You asked me. You know, what have I learned more is how to embrace growth, how to embrace change. Which again, and I know we keep going back to it, but that's why we had to end this, you know, because there is a lot of growth, there is a lot of change. We've been the Coastal Concierge team for a while, and now we're moving on to something bigger and better. You know,
it's been a fun ride.
It's been a fun
and I'm
ride,
happy to be
but
here,
it's not
so,
over. And
no.
and I'm really looking forward to where we're going as you know.
Real quick though, who do you think's going to the Super Bowl?
I don't even know, because
What?
I'll be honest. Don't sweat the small stuff with the COVID. I don't even care.
Okay.
I don't even
All
care.
right.
It's there's so much other stuff going on.
I kind of hope the Browns do something. I know they're not. There's no way you can beat
I like
Kansas
Baker.
City. I like Baker
I like
Mayfield
Baker.
too.
It's a swag, man. The swag.
When he
you know.
started dropping some TLC lyrics, and after, I don't know, he was talking after some game, I was like, okay, Baker, I see you.
Look, I'm a fan of swag, you know.
Yes.
So when anybody exudes swag, you know, their swag is what propels them.
Yes.
I'm always a fan because there's something about it. You got to have that confidence, you know.
And I love an underdog. So, I mean, come
True.
on. It's about time.
It's the Browns, but
Yeah, but they're not.
You don't think? I don't know.
Kansas City is going to be back in either Saints. That's who I see going. Maybe Green
We'll
Bay.
see. We
I
got
don't
it
know.
on tape though, so we
Yeah.
can definitely remember. So anyway, actually, little quick announcement. So, like I said, we just said, you know, ending the podcast, ending the team, you know, our team, you know, Coastal Concierge Group. We'll be ending that too, and it's not one of those things where we're ending it because we're splitting up. But again, it's the growth, you know, as we're transitioning to actually the Coastal Concierge Realty Group, you know, forming our own brokerage, becoming our own brokerage.
It's exciting. Some people didn't understand what was going on.
A lot of
It's
people
a big
didn't.
deal. It's a really big
deal. A lot of people
deal.
didn't, you know, moving out.
Yeah,
and
they're like, I
it
thought
was,
you guys already were a team. I said, no, it's bigger than that.
This is bigger than that. You know, it's bigger than that, and it took a lot. I've been racking my brain over the past 6 months. You know, there's a lot of people I've consulted with, spoken with, talked to, picked their brains. One of them who we actually have here today, who to me has become one of my good friends, mentors, even though he's younger than me, and I never knew that until recently. Which again, I think that's that thing of imparting is the growth is you understand that you can learn from any and everybody,
right.
You know, and this gentleman has helped me through
more
the
swag
formation.
than Baker Mayfield for sure.
We're gonna get to the swag. We're gonna get to look. Did you hear the laugh?
There
That's
it is.
That's how
There
swag
it is.
introduces itself.
Yes.
I'm going in like Lil Wayne. So, but look, y'all. So let me go ahead and introduce you to him. I've known this gentleman for 3
years.
3 years now.
Well, going on 4. This year.
Going on 4. He's been an integral part of.
Integral. Wow.
You like that? You like that?
Wow, that's special.
I'm learning some
You
things.
are.
You are
Yes.
special. Look, the format changed because of you. You know, people on the side of the tables have changed. Let's get it right into it, y'all. He is the broker owner of Onyx Realty Professionals. Did I say it right?
You said it right.
Got it right.
You got it right.
Y'all help me. He's the man. You know, Cavelle
Mollineaux. Thank you.
Got
Thank
it
you.
right. You know how long
I appreciate you saying my name the right way.
You know
too.
how long it's taken me to say your name for years. It was Mollineaux.
You was practicing last time.
Mollineaux.
Really?
That's it.
Yeah,
you know.
you
So
slaughtered
so
Everybody
Cavelle
messes
was.
me up.
I remember us. We were standing by the copy machine one day, and we were really discussing what's the next move, because this man don't let no grass grow under his feet. I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
You got a bob and weave, stick and move.
That's it. You know, he jumped out when I first went from an individual agent to moving to a team. Cavelle had his squad. They were rocking and rolling the Mollineaux agency at the time, and I think still loosely.
Yeah. The team is still strong, still the Mollineaux agency.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, not to cut you off on the introduction, but yesterday was my my sales meeting, / office meeting with everyone, and since I do use it loosely now, one of the agents that's on my team, that's been on my team, was like, "Hey, listen, what's going on with the Mollineaux agent? We're having a meeting, but it's everybody. You know what I mean? Show us some love." So there is, that transition period that you'll see, that you'll have to go through, that those that been with you from the beginning, that used to get in that close-knit, that team love, as you grow, more people come on, they'll still be looking for it, and they'll call you on it. So I do plan on making sure that I be a little bit more conscious that the Mollineaux agency still exists. That's still the team.
Yeah.
But the company have grown into Onyx Realty Professionals with many more agents,
And I'll say this, that's one of my biggest, I guess for lack of a better word, fears going into the, moving into the brokerage sphere is losing that, and how to keep that and hold on to that, So let me ask you this: what made you want to take on the challenge of starting a new brokerage?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
Always, man.
I appreciate
this.
that.
This is actually long overdue.
It is. You've been telling me about coming on
this
here.
This is long overdue.
And I feel like there's
at least 6
every
months.
day of somebody new going over to his company.
Oh wow!
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
You're doing something right.
He definitely is.
Yeah. So I appreciate you having me, man, and being that this is the last one, I think it's only fitting that you have, a boss like myself. Let me stop saying that.
That's why I love this dude, man.
But yeah, I would have, and it's funny because, this kind of came up on the whim because we do talk regularly, and I was talking to you earlier this week, about some of the things that I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And you was telling me about some of the things you're doing, and then you were like, hey, you know what, the last one is coming up. I think you should be on there. And being that you are as special as you are, I had to move my schedule around, to make it happen. So back to your question, what made me want to take the challenge on? It's something that I always wanted to do, to be honest, because I'm always about progression, and I'm always about having a bigger picture. And I'm always a visionary. I can get, very carried away with having big visions. That's why I have, partners and confidence close to me that do a lot of the execution, such as Ray.
You definitely got. I was just about to say Ray. I was like, that's one thing I've always admired and have tried to mirror is the way you have that tight-knit squad around you. It's almost kind of like Jessica's been here. She's almost kind of like my Ray, Yeah.
So the team, the team you have around you is most important, and having those solid relationships, from the beginning, could make you or break you, and a lot of times it'll make you either way. Because even if you get broken, you can be pick back up and learn from the mistakes. But if you could just continue to get stronger, as your people get stronger with you, that helps. So. Yeah, I would typically paint the vision and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And then I would have my folks kind of help me execute on that. Because once I say we're doing this, and everybody buy in, I'm already on to the next thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And then everybody else is updating me on how we're going to get to, the last picture that I painted. So from the time I sold my first house and I saw how things work with the brokerage, and I saw, how many people a brokerage can reach versus an individual, I was like, this was, 10, almost 11 years now ago. We got in the business about the same time.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to own my own brokerage. That's something I had to do. And then as years went on, I understand, like with anything, you kind of got to master your craft.
Yeah.
You got to really hone in and be great. And then you have to become an expert. And you got to be known for being good at what you do. So I just worked over the years, building things up, learning here and there from, people in my sphere, such as yourself. You definitely have taught me a lot as well. And then what really pushed me over the top to make me say, yeah, I definitely had to do this, is the more I start looking into it and the more that I start considering if this is something I need to do, is the more I realized that there was no one in the industry that looked like me.
I remember this conversation.
That was
it.
That was really doing, the brokerage and creating a culture and having that representation, for inspiration for other people to come and say,
Absolutely.
hey, this can be done, So I was like, I have to do it, because if I can get it done and inspire at least one or two people, to say,
Here's
hey,
one. Here's one. You
There you
definitely
go.
Inspired a
inspired.
lot more than one or two people.
Well, that was the goal. That was the
Yeah.
goal. Just inspire one or two people. Have the ability to do what I love at the same time, touch more people. Then I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And that's really, have been my why. And once again, back to my meeting yesterday with my agents. One of the things I spoke about is, in your business here, and in general. And starting out the year, now is a perfect time to figure out, what's your why? Like, why are you, in the business? And why do you want to make the type of money you want to make? Or why do you want to be a top producer, whatever the case may be? And when the going get tough, that's what's going to keep pulling you.
Gonna propel
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you just wake up one morning and watch HGTV and then you say, hey, it looked like being a real estate agent is cool, and you decide to go get your license and do it because the barrier to entry is that low. Once the market goes down, which, happens all the time.
It will, inevitably. Yeah. I think we're riding a high right
up
now.
Up and down, then your why is not going to keep you going. You're going to come out and go get a 9 to 5, right? So I remind them of that. And that was my why, which have allowed me to kind of like, find my purpose.
I like it. And I remember that conversation, actually going back further, because I remember, when I first met you and talking, your whole purpose for coming to First Class when we did was to build your team and eventually grow to a brokerage. Myself at the time, I was a single agent. I was just riding. Look, I was just enjoying the swag, man. It was the loafers. You had the ankles out. So and now we've shifted to the fedoras, and I like it. It's always growing. It's always growth. And I laugh and we joke about that stuff, but that conversation we had.
We had a couple. So,
we had a couple,
I
but
don't know which one you're talking about.
we had a couple that
remind me.
led to it. But that's one that'll stick to me, and I remember it. We sat there by the printers and we discussed that. I was fortunate, because I did have you to kind of look at and watch. And like I said, when I started the team, you were able to help me navigate that path and kind of.
But to be honest, I really can't take any of credit of what you have put out and done. I appreciate the shout out, but it's more so a testament to you as a person, because as you know, in this business and in business in general, you could give a lot of people, the knowledge, and you could share a lot of how to do's and stuff, but not everybody go out and do it.
Yeah.
So I do remember the conversation, and conversations plural. And for a minute, you looked like you were going to be like everyone else, because you kept on asking, hey, how do you do this? Why do you do it? And things of that nature. And I would give it to you, and you would go back and come back with more. And I was like, listen, just do it.
Yeah,
just go ahead and do it. It's you have the ability to create something special. And if you don't, you'll know soon enough, and you could adjust on the fly and figure out, where the stress factors are.
Yeah.
And you went out and did it. And you always looking to grow and do better. And as you're doing better, you always, staying humble and like, hey, I see what you're doing over there. How you pulling that one off? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? And we have that type of relationship, and you definitely execute.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. It's definitely some, watching you guys and watching the major moves. Let's talk about the launch party y'all had.
That was, he knows how to throw a party.
That was
too.
major.
Yeah.
That was definitely something that we don't see around here a lot. It was definitely a big deal. It was a great time. So I know that was what that was an event. That was definitely an event that in our industry.
I appreciate that.
We enjoyed it.
I appreciate it.
We did. We had a ball. We haven't seen that in a while. Now I know the event was, what was that, like maybe
November.
Okay.
November,
I was gonna say
November
about
30, Friday the 13th.
It was like
to be honest,
right before they restricted.
Yeah,
the amount of people. So it was like the last fun thing that everybody could do.
And you said it. You said it when you first opened. You were like, "Yo, I'm gonna have to do it big," and I was like, "I know you're gonna do it big," and he did it. He did it.
But we, once again, we do be having these conversations. You actually encouraged me to do it big, not realizing that, because I do normally do it big. I do, throw pretty epic parties.
You definitely brought the city out.
I do throw epic parties. I always say if I'm going to be known for something, it's known for throwing a party, and because of that, I knew I wanted to throw a party. I knew I wanted to throw down and make it a grand event. But with COVID and everything that's going on, I was having second thoughts.
I'm sure.
And I had to really, hone into, my confidence and people that know me and say, hey, what do you think? And I was like, hey, I want to do this, but I might do something light or not. And you're one of the people who's like, come on, man.
Nah, man.
He's like,
do it.
You like,
it was
do it big.
Hey, it wasn't even an option.
You made it work.
Exactly.
With what is going on in the world right now.
It took some, maneuvering and some strategy to create that atmosphere, with having COVID in mind, and things of that nature. And it was great. It was really, really good. It was grand.
Yeah,
It
wasn't
grand.
even an option, man. You was talking, I might do this. Man, look, go on and do it big then. That's the only way to do it. Yeah. So speaking of that, obviously we had to deal with COVID and things like that. How long has it been since you actually started the brokerage, and in the midst of a pandemic at that?
I know.
Yeah. So officially we started August 1st is when we really brought all the agents over from the team, onto Onyx and officially open the doors and start, taking on customers coming into our home base headquarters off of Hampton Road and
because you guys
South
are based
Plaza.
out of Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah, Virginia Beach, correct.
Yeah. I know you said you started with the team, and Jessica actually referenced it earlier. We talked about this earlier this week too. You guys have been booming. You're growing every other day. It's like, oh, welcome to Onyx, welcome to Onyx, welcome to Onyx.
There's like a daily announcement.
I
like
feel it
social
is.
media of somebody new at your office.
Where are you guys at now? As far as size wise.
Well, humbly,
I love how humble he is.
speaking.
But you are.
We have about 32 agents right now.
Wow.
And we started out with 7.
I remember
that's
that.
awesome.
We started with
That's
7
great.
agents in August, and here we are in January. So what's that? 5 months?
Yeah.
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 Kinda
So
crazy.
we got 32 agents now. Yeah.
That's crazy. And you know what? I feel like part of that is a lot of people are drawn to your success, you know, and I think that's one of the things. This industry is tough, man. You know, a lot of people,
It's a
they
tough
see
industry.
you, they hear I opened a brokerage in August with 7 agents. I got 32 now in January. Despite of how tough this is, what do you think the primary reason for your success in this industry is?
Just once again, going back to realizing your why, right, and being able to walk in your purpose, it puts you in a place where you are very unwavering in regards to listening to the naysayers or getting distracted by what else is going on in the world, such as a pandemic, because you kind of like, you're able to stay focused. But really and truly just showing up, being consistent and building strong relationships. That's always been the way I've built my business. I've
Yeah.
always just focused on, how many people that I can really add value to, and not expecting anything in return, but it just works out where those people end up adding value, right back to me. And wanting to be a master of my craft, wanting to be an expert, digging deep and staying focused, finding out what I can do that, somebody else isn't doing, just like you. After I do that, master it long enough, the copycats will come, imitation will come, which is very flattering.
Yep.
But then you switch it up and you add something else, to the sauce. And you got to be okay with not reinventing the wheel, but at the same time being creative, and staying true to who you are. A lot of people, some people spend their whole lives not knowing who they are, right? I spend time with myself every day, and that's with a wife and 5 kids at home. I wake up before everyone just so I can, spend time with myself, and that helps me know who I am.
Right.
And once you know who you are, you could kind of like really do a better job of, investing in other people and not having what other people do affect you. So my success has been, just that, always value, always adding value, staying focused, showing up, being consistent, answering your phone,
Right.
a lot of people.
Well, I think the other thing you have going for you too is that you are so likable. I don't know anybody who doesn't like you, and then you want to work with me.
Maybe before I had my own brokerage, but now,
That's funny. I was just about to go into that.
Everybody loves Cavelle. Like,
yeah, there's a couple of people.
They do.
that
They
know.
do.
that's
They
one of your
what's that
strengths,
saying
too.
goes?
Very
Everybody loves you until you become the competition.
That's
though.
right.
You were. This is why we vibe so much, because and we briefly hit on it in one of our discussions.
Did I steal your thoughts?
You didn't. No, you actually made it perfect, because you took me to where I wanted to go, because it's something that I think we're going to have to deal with as we move forward, as we open our brokerage. You mentioned the naysayers and things like that. 32 agents from 7 in 4 or 5 months. That's causing a lot of disruption, I'm sure. And while everybody likes
Yeah, you might not have as many fans now.
How do you deal with that? How has that affected you? Have you seen a change in how people look at you or perceive you? Or, we know that people are drawn to you for you, but I'm pretty sure the way this industry is, look, it's a tough industry. I'm sure that you probably get a little pushback or, get accused of this, that, or the other. Like, how do you handle that?
I mean, it comes with the territory, right? I knew that that's something that I would have to deal with. Going in, didn't realize I'd have to deal with it so early.
Yeah.
Right? So having to deal with it so early, I've just been able to, I have really good relationships with a lot of people in the industry from being around so long. So, to be honest, the people that do know me and the people that have add value to me in my career, and that I am willing to continue to add value to, if it end up in a situation where we are crossing lines as far as agents is concerned, I actually do make the call and say, hey, this person is thinking about,
big,
jumping ship.
That's big, and that shows a lot to
this type of
to
situation.
who you are. Yeah, your character, who you are as a person.
Yes, so I make those calls. I've made those calls with three separate brokers and managers and stuff like that in the industry. So those relationships are pretty still solid. And on one of them, I had to make it, more than once. And we still good. And actually have them say, hey, better they come to you than they come to someone else, because they're going to leave regardless type of deal. So that means a lot. And they know that I'm also not going after their people, because it's like, unwritten law there with certain relationships. Now, with the ones that I have no relationship with and end up having a couple of them come in
That's
numbers, I just have to, focus on what I'm doing. It's almost like one of the best snapshot I've seen in sports was what's his name, Michael Phelps. Yeah, there's a picture with him in the pool swimming, and he is actually focusing dead ahead. And he's beating a guy like maybe a couple of inches, but the guy next to him, I think he was from Australia, he was looking at him. Right? And in a sport such as swimming, where you are able to win, all lose, by inches, that slight turn, could have been the difference. You know what I'm saying? So I just focus on what I'm doing, focus on my agents, right? And make sure I'm adding value to them, making sure I'm not over-promising them and underperforming when they come across and stuff like that. And they do the same. Culture is something that starts from the top and gets trickled down a whole lot. So when my agents, are with us at Onyx Realty, I always say, hey, let's operate in such a way where when people hear the name, it means something. And it means something big. So, like you mentioned, it's like a family, or it's like a, professional, basketball team or football team, whatever. It's like a brotherhood, sisterhood, type of thing. And that's how I deal with it. I just focus on me and focus on my people, and anybody else, they just on the outside looking in, the people that, the people with the loudest boos, they usually in the nosebleeds.
Yo, I never thought about that.
They all the way up. They didn't pay much for their ticket. You know what I'm saying? But the people that right there in the front, they ain't gonna be booing you like that, because they get in the front seat to what's going on, and they could appreciate. Even if you are rooting for the other team, and you have a box seat or you have a floor seat, and you see the greatness that's going on. It's hard to boo, because you like, whoa, that's talent. Or whatever the case
you gotta
may
appreciate
be.
it.
Unless you Spike Lee or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's just who he is. So look, you had mentioned Camille and the kid. Camille is your wife.
Camille is your wife, yeah.
You mentioned Camille and the kids. And I know that's a big motivating factor for you. They were actually there at the event, which I thought was huge. Watching them, kind of cut the ribbon and be a part of the whole thing, because that's another thing people don't realize about our industry is our families sometimes. I don't know. It's maybe the wrong words, but get the short end of the stick at times, because we are drawn in so many places.
It's real
for so much.
It's real. It happens. It's a lot of sacrifice. And a lot of people try to have what's called balance, like a work-life balance.
Which I have a hard time subscribing to.
It doesn't exist.
Okay, all right. So I think that's where we're liking that.
It's a myth.
Yeah, I think it's all just life.
It's a myth. It's life and it's seasons, so you have to recognize what season you're in.
Right.
And if the season you're in is building, that means that you may have to sacrifice some time at home, right? And if you have the right partner and the right people in your corner, they wouldn't give you a super hard time. No, they'll give you a hard time. They'll remind you if you're really overdoing it.
Sure.
Camille's reminds me every time I'm pushing the limit. But you need that reminder because you could get really, really involved and then forget other things and not have your priorities in place and look back and be like, hey, you wasted all this time, chasing, these dreams, but you had, dreams and things over here that you want. Because me, a lot of people, man, you got 5 kids. That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
5,
six.
How did that happen? I'd be like, well, we know how it happened. But that's something I always wanted. I always wanted 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah.
That was one of my dreams, always.
Oh, well, when I met you, I think I met you with the kids running around. We were at an event, and it was before you had 5.
Yeah, I had 2 at that time.
Yes, your girls were playing with my girls.
Right,
so.
exactly. So once I end up, I'm grateful actually that I was blessed enough to marry a awesome, woman, like Camille. I call her my queen. And her being as supportive as she is.
She's huge.
And also being willing to be a mom, to handle, a large family like that. And the timing that I was able to meet her and do that early.
Right.
Like I told you, ever since I came into business, I wanted to have my own brokerage.
Yeah.
So I could have done this years ago. Right? Because I've been a broker for 7 years, right? But I was building my family, right? Because that was important. I didn't want to sacrifice that. So the season at that point in time was to, knock those kids out.
And you did. You did.
And then I did that, and we are done right now. I have my starting 5. I got my center, my point guard, my forward,
Wait,
power
I heard
forward.
right now. You're done right now?
Well, I mean, yeah.
That's what I heard.
Well, right now. I mean,
Like, that's a pause.
I mean, might get bored in a couple of years. I do. I mean,
I tell y'all, he don't let no grass grow on his feet.
No.
Maybe look into, adopting or something like that.
I love that.
When we feel like having an addition or whatever the case may be. But family's big. So I would never close a door on something or say it would never happen or it would never grow again. But as of right now, we are very, very content. And also because I'm trying to grow the brokerage is
You're
my
doing
new
it all,
baby.
Right? Yes.
I don't want to add any other babies, to the table, for sure.
That's funny. So you actually kind of answer the next question I had, because obviously I know family is a big motivation for you. What other motivations and inspirations would you say you have that keep you going, day in and day out? Because again, this is a tough industry, and it's a lot. I had a meeting with someone earlier today. I thought I looked normal. I think this whole week I've been hearing the same thing. Man, you look stressed.
For real.
I got it again.
I guess I did, but
Sorry.
so in spite of that, what else keeps you kind of pushing? I think you kind of answered that there though, with the brokerage and the people.
Yeah, the brokerage. In the business that we're in the service industry. So the more people to serve, the more fulfilling it is.
Yeah.
And as an agent, as an individual agent, you are able to probably service, a certain maximum, of people. So what have kept me, focused over the years is really what I think keeps a lot of people focused and a lot of people motivated without them realizing is really progression, right? Growth. And being an individual agent, starting a team with 2 or 3 people, right? Seeing what that works, then go up to 5, 6, 7. I think at one time the team was up to like 10 people. And then we got down and started settling like about 7, 8 before we had opened the brokerage. And then now opening the brokerage, and like I mentioned before, I'm a big picture visionary type of person. So now that I'm tweaking these things and figuring out what's going on with the brokerage, and we have that one location, I'm like, what's next?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's next? What can we do to take it to the next level? So I used to wonder how, certain successful people, just keep going and still wake up and still hustle, or athletes, like Tom Brady, got 6 rings, still want to play. Like, why don't you just give it up and retire? What keeps you going? But I'm starting to realize that, if you have your passion and then you realize your passion is actually connected to your purpose, then you're always looking on, what's next, right? And I know it sounds, cliche, talking about, your passion and stuff like that, but you kind of got to realize what's the difference between, your passion and your purpose. And I think the difference between your passion and your purpose, I think I heard it before, if I'm not mistaken, and it kind of resonated with me, is that your passion is what you do and what you love to do, pretty much what you'll do if anyone didn't pay you for it. Right. And then your purpose is how you can use your passion to serve other people, right? How can you make other people benefit from what you're doing with your passion? So right now, I'm super passionate about my agents, the way I used to be super passionate about my clients, right? And seeing my agents be successful is like number one, in my books, and figuring out how to have more agents be successful, that keeps me going. Because I remember when I came into business, and there was no one really taking me under their wing and showing me step by step what to do. Like, I figured out a whole lot of things. And then when I started the team, I had the luck and the blessing to have solid people, like you mentioned, Ray. That's my right hand. And then I have people like Christian, Juarez.
He came in and
he came in,
took off
and took off. Now he
got his team, right?
He got his own team, the Imperium Group, and Quentin, Nara, who else we got? We got a lot of people. JR. Most of the people, they've been with me for a couple of years.
They was in the office.
They've been with me for a couple of years, and seeing them now come into their own and do well, and thinking about starting their team. And I know if they start their team and they like me and there's progression in their mind, they're going to be like, what's next? So I always have to be in that what's next mode, so that way I can continue to help the people around me to be in what's next mode. So that's what keeps me going. Because if I stop, then, they might be inclined to stop, or they may be looking somewhere else for that, progression. So I always want to be part of the progression.
I like it. I like it. So speaking of progression, where do you see yourself heading in the industry soon? I know y'all got a lot of stuff going on. Y'all got some big things going on, actually. And how soon you think it's all going to kind of come to fruition? Do you have a timeline?
Yeah, I would say within the next, 2 to 3 years. We're definitely looking at expanding into, other areas, geographically speaking. I know you are getting away from the brick and mortar, in the real estate industry. But, to have a home base is very important. I signed on quite a few agents recently on the other side of the water, the peninsula. And I've had quite a few clients over there. So I'm thinking about, venturing over there and having a presence over there.
I like it.
Soon. And got my eyes on some other regions as well. I think about 2 more locations within the next 3 to 5 years is probably ideal locally.
Right.
And then after
And
that,
then
you might venture
something
out.
bigger.
Yeah.
I can
then
tell
what's
by his
next,
face
you
there's
know?
something bigger. So
Always what's next.
yes.
I like it. Because I think y'all actually y'all are moving in other areas too, outside of the traditional just agent stuff.
You know what you're saying. You know what you're doing.
I just want to look.
Yeah. I am licensed. I'm a broker in charge in North Carolina, and we did partner with actually one of the first classes brokerages. I don't know if you know. You had to know. You had to know.
Right?
Yeah. So that just launched like this week, and I'm the broker in charge there. So we created a partnership with them. So we are in North Carolina, licensed, up and running, already ratified contracts, already have some listings that is signed and getting ready to go into the system. So we already crossing state lines.
I like it.
Ray is licensed in Georgia, and he goes down there.
I saw that. I saw Ray's doing some things in Georgia
and
too.
he goes down there at least once a month or every other week. So he's a broker down there. So we got our eyes on there. One of my agents just got licensed in South Carolina. So we are heading south right now.
South,
Y'all
up and
doing
down
it.
the East Coast there.
doing it.
Sounds-
Because I mean, south is very easy to get to warm up to as far as, testing the waters.
Right.
When you go up north,
It's a little different up there,
It's a little
I know.
different. And I'm from up north. When I originally came to the States, I used to live in Boston. My mom is actually still in
Okay.
Boston. Hence why I follow all the best sports teams.
Here we go.
All right. I won't get into you
Here
with
we
this
go.
one, but I
Nation.
hear you. Yes.
Right? You name the sport. We got rings
have
in it.
all
You know
the
what I'm
best.
saying? So we wouldn't even enter that route of competition. But yeah, the plan is definitely to move up north. But right now we've been moving on south heavily, and I see that we'll continue to do so.
I like it.
That's
I like
awesome.
it, man. Well, hey, look, I know you got a lot of stuff to do. You're busy, man. I'm pretty sure your phone's blowing up. You got it muted for us, but I appreciate you stopping through, man. Like I said, you've been such a big part of my journey, my growth in this industry, and I just want to thank you for everything you've done. A lot of people would not have dropped the nuggets and the tidbits you did because they look at it as, that's the competition. You're feeding the competition. You're helping the competition. And like even with the partnership with Signature, I think that's huge that despite the fact that we're all kind of going and doing other things, we still stay together and keep
Still
rocking
family,
together.
right?
Yeah.
And once again, it's about the relationships and it's about the people. I know you're trying to wrap it up and have a hard close, but really and truly, that's what it comes down to, the relationships. Now, not a lot of people could have presented, a partnership in that manner,
Yeah.
in another state and say, hey, let's do this. And I just opened a brokerage over here, and there's a huge trust level.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
Will, that's my guy. Jamie, his wife, and Jen.
Yeah.
Those are three real awesome people.
Oh.
Solid,
Yes.
solid trio right there.
So once we had probably like.
Will's my fellow Eagles fan.
Yeah, he is. He gave me a hard time when you guys beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yes, I remember.
But I tell you, I wouldn't have partnered with anybody else besides those two. Maybe you.
I like
know what I'm saying?
Jeez,
Well, we
maybe
ain't gonna. But we
right.
actually look. We got some in our group. That
Right,
are
that's
going to
gonna
be a
hanging
part of
over
that.
there.
So,
Right. There's a lot. Like I'm telling you, you think Onyx been growing?
oh, I know.
Wait till you see what Signature do.
Nah, I know.
It's gonna be
gonna be
booming.
big. Yeah.
It's fun to watch. That's for
And
sure.
North
Yeah.
Carolina better watch out. 'Cause they do business a little bit different from us
They
there.
do.
Right.
They do.
Right.
We tend to be more creative. They are very,
By the book.
and some people.
And then can you throw another party when this is all said and done, please?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of demands
I'm
for
sure.
another party.
I'm sure.
And we will have another party. That is not even a
Awesome.
question.
Ooh.
And when it happens, you guys VIP, so
Hey.
Oh, I feel
You
so
know,
never go over that.
special.
Y'all gotta have the
Yeah,
signature drink
yeah,
again.
Sure. That drink got some people in trouble.
Oh, it
Onyx
did?
signature
I don't
drink.
know. I don't drink,
The
so
Onyx drink was different.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
was hitting different. There's some stories.
Oh,
with
that's
that
what
drink.
was happening as the
Oh,
night
there
was
was a
going
lot going on.
Okay.
There was a lot
All
going on.
right.
So, hey, Cavelle, where can they find y'all out? Check y'all out to get more info. If
Yes,
they,
so
interested.
OnyxRealtyPros.com. That's our website. You could go there. You can, get a lot of information there. But you can follow us on Instagram at We Move Keys.
There it is.
There,
We
yes,
Move Keys
That's what we
TV.
do. We Move Keys.
YouTube, right? Y'all on
Yeah, we
YouTube?
do have a YouTube. The YouTube is We Move Keys TV. Also, Onyx Realty Professionals, the whole thing. Onyx Realty Professionals on YouTube. Facebook is Onyx Realty Professional. Also, We Move Keys. Pretty much, if you go on any social media and put in hashtag We
We
Move
move
Keys,
keys. We'll find
There
you.
it is.
Yes.
we'll come up. My personal Instagram. As you know, you was talking about it before. Is at Real Estate Swag.
There it
You know what I'm
is.
saying?
Of course.
So they are the traditional places. Could definitely, find me. Anything Onyx Realty, We Move Keys, anything with swag. I got it.
Love it. There it is.
Yes, he does.
Well, we definitely appreciate
King
you
of
for
swag.
coming through, man.
Thanks for having me.
Dropping it on them. I think this conversation alone is going to help a lot of people who may have been on the fence about doing some things, coming out from behind the scenes, and we're just keeping it going. Speaking of behind the scenes, we actually got
He's
a
not paying
special one
attention.
today over there. Look, he working. But we're gonna do something different. We're gonna pull him from behind the camera today. Cade, come through, man. Holla at us. Mr. Cade.
Cool.
Gaede.
What's up, man?
Did I even say it right?
You did.
You
I
did,
said it right.
You did,
You
yeah.
did?
I've
I used
got
to
a
call
lot
him-
growing up.
I used to call him Cade, Gaede, and all kinds of stuff. I didn't know how to say
You
it.
messed
But
everyone's name up.
this,
Dude, I
y'all,
used to get all kinds of crazy stuff.
anything y'all have seen, podcasts, videos, anything that involves the camera, this is the actual face behind the camera. So
Hey, you're the brains behind it. I just make it happen.
man, shoot, you've helped us go
No.
to a whole nother level. It's been interesting. You've actually watched the whole journey too. You saw us when
Yeah.
we first came and were doing some of the.
Yeah, back when it was just like, I don't know if I got in as early as when it was just you two.
I think it was right after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There was
think
4 of us,
Elba had
maybe.
just joined on.
5.
Okay.
There
It was
5
like
of
she
us.
was like just learning what real estate was at the time. So, and
That's
then I
right.
remember like 2
Now
months
look at
later,
her.
she was like
Yeah.
10 listings. And
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap.
Top dog. She was getting it.
Yeah.
It's funny
It
though
just-
because let me see. Oh God, I hit my toe.
Jeez.
Our connection actually, you two are how we got connected.
Oh,
so,
yes, right.
Thea, who is good friends
One of my
with,
best friends, yes.
Yeah,
Jessica.
Atlantic
Thea
Bay.
Over
Gray.
at
She's
Atlantic
at
Bay
Atlantic
Mortgage,
Bay,
yeah.
and she's my daughter's godmother
Right.
as well. She's one of the first people I met when I moved to Virginia Beach like 16 years ago. So I remember we were looking at a video that she had hired you guys for.
the golf
Yeah.
tournament.
And I was like,
Oh,
wow,
yeah, that was fun.
That is really
Yeah.
good. This is
Jessica
what
goes,
we need.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
goes, you need to get with them.
Yeah. Atlantic Bay's got a lot of good people.
Yeah.
I like 'em a
Oh,
lot,
they
yeah.
definitely do.
Yeah.
They usually hit us up for like all the fun, quirky stuff they do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So thank you, Thea.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Shout out to Thea
Yes.
over
Yeah.
there at Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. Let me see. You made the introduction to me. I kind of did some researching, and I remember giving you guys a call. And it was funny
Yeah.
because
Oh, we had that first meeting.
I called you guys to see to get you to do some work for us. Next thing I know, they called and they were like, "Well, we kind of need you to come in for an interview."
Yeah.
We only do
Well, there's
so.
a lot of people that like, because there's videography and photography is kind of an amateur realm that you
Right.
can just get into, you know what I mean, which is nice. It's how I got into it. But, it obviously scales with the production value. So, a lot of people will think that, video, $100, you can come out and film for the whole day. And it's like,
That's it.
you can probably get somebody to do it for that, but it's not going to be to the quality
The
that
quality,
you're looking
right.
for. Yeah. So that was why we usually like to talk first. And
Yeah.
usually another thing we like to do is kind of incorporate more of the strategy. And there's a lot that ties into the website. And
That was huge for us because I didn't even realize it. I was thinking the same thing.
Right.
They're gonna shoot a video like that for
Let's
us,
just
and
shoot a
it'll be
video.
it'll be great. And You know,
so
we sat
much more
down.
that goes into it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was when,
Especially in this day and age.
You could technically record this whole thing with 3 phones. You know, we could sit here in like selfie mode.
Yeah.
And then
Really?
just record with the phones and get the audio and then loop it all together. But it just depends on
See,
the.
look at him. He's already.
I'm like,
Don't
"You
give him no
lost
idea.
me. We need 3 phones for
Don't
this."
give him no ideas.
Just in case the cameras fail, we'll switch to that.
Yeah. So at the time, you were with Bryant Digital.
Mhm.
Shout out to Jordan.
Josiah and
Josiah and
Josiah.
Jordan.
Right?
Yeah.
I
all
always
J's.
forget them
So
because they
there's
all
all the
J's. There's so
J's.
many J's.
Yeah.
You know, I was gonna
Yes.
say Josiah
Yeah.
and the rest of
Yep.
the Bryant boys over
We
there.
were all middle
Um,
school friends, grew up in the same
Oh.
neighborhood.
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's
Oh, I
crazy.
love
Yeah.
that.
So
But now we've speaking of growth, we're now Vatik Creative.
yeah.
So what does
different company.
Vatik mean? I know you had told me
Vatik
one
means
time.
like the ability to foresee the future. I didn't honestly. I was so irritated trying to come up with a name. Like they're all taken. They're all like you think of like a name and it's like wow that's great and you look it up and it's like a potato chip company or something like in Kansas and it's like no one's ever gonna find me. They're gonna find this Kansas potato chip company.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Vatik means though the ability to foresee or like predict into the future. So like a lot of times I feel like the way that we create things is based off of the engagement we're expecting or the reaction or just like the type of people that we're even going after. It's all kind of predicted,
Yeah.
pre-analyzed. We make this podcast, we estimate this type of person will watch it, an agent will watch it and then they'll be engaged by it and be like, wow, what is this group? So that's kind of predicting in a way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I picked the name is because I feel like we do a lot of, products. You can make a website, you can make a video, you can make a photo, but you're always predicting what the reaction's going to be.
Right.
And that's kind of where the name came from.
I like it.
I
I like
that
it.
too.
I know when he first dropped it on me, I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
that it's over the
catches
years
on.
of working with you, it's forced me to look at things differently.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah.
And you guys, we first sat down and you're like, well, "What are your pillars?"
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
a lot
don't
of people
know.
just want to jump into doing something, and I'm totally not against at a certain point you can't overplan something. You can't overdo it. You
Right.
got to just start executing and then correct from there. But to a certain extent, I do respect kind of laying the foundation of he was saying, what your mission is, for what your objective is, and then that kind of dictates your voice for everything.
Yeah.
From there, so I like to usually figure that stuff out first.
Well, I like it, and I like how you said don't overplan because a lot of people probably don't realize a lot of the stuff we shoot is
Just
like
off
off
the
the
cuff.
cuff.
Yeah.
We're there. We have a plan. Okay, here's what we're doing, but we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah,
we
right?
get there.
We're just winging it. Yeah,
We look at it. We figure it out.
Yeah.
We spitball it. And so you said, I'm the brains. Not really. I think it's
It's a collaborative
Yeah,
effort.
it's definitely a collaboration.
when we first started, we had timers. We were trying to figure it out. We were, trying to figure out how we wanted to do it, how long we wanted it to run, and it was
Yeah.
it was less off the cuff. I feel like when we started, it was question
Very
1,
stringent.
question
Yeah,
2.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, here's this part now. Whereas now it's flown really, I feel like from this one kind of into more of a conversation, which is
Right.
why I'm excited for
yeah.
the phase 2 of, it's not going to be a podcast, more of a vlog style, but it's going to be kind of real and raw and exciting,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
more on the ground content. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to do
watching
that
the
too.
journey.
No more meetings. It's like we talked last night. I was like, what are we talking about? Can we talk about football?
Yeah,
That's all I care
think
about.
I was in the car coming from somewhere.
All
He
right,
was
whatever.
like, "Jump on, let's get it going."
Yeah.
God, we used to have production meetings. Isn't that funny? That was crazy back then.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something we picked up off of you.
How did you come up with Coastal Concierge Group?
Ooh, that's a long story. I was in a partnership, previous to this, and you know how things go. People move and grow and move into different different spheres. And so kind of what happened is my partner at the time, similar to what you guys, happened with you. It's not so much a negative thing. We went through the same thing. I think with us, it just happened to come back around. So we there was a part of the name that was there, and then I wanted to be a little more pay homage to where we are, to where I've grown up. I've been here my whole life, 40 be 41 next month, so 41 years I've been in this area. But for me, the concierge, and it was what Cavelle was just saying, we're customer service based. It's why we do what we do for our clients, especially in 2021.
Yeah.
In 2020, that was a big thing. The market just got so crazy. We didn't have to do the stuff that we did, but we chose to do it,
Yeah.
because when you think of certain places, the Waldorf Astoria, these top-notch hotel chains or any of the big industries where customer service is big, that was a big thing for us. We needed a name that embodied who we are, what we do, and where we're at. And
Yeah, I like it.
that's where it came from. So it's been a journey, it's been a transformation, and the great thing about it is I think there's power in names. Like you have Vatik, and that almost drives where you're at. I mean, First Class started, because of the name, and that's where we started at. And that name has driven us. So every agent who has joined us since then automatically embodies those traits. And it's not something that has to be said. It's not something that has to be taught. Mm-hmm. It's something that's just inherent.
Kind of understood.
It's just ingrained in us. And I think just the way we move, people see it, people like it, and they come on specifically for that. So now one thing that always interested me when we first started, we first sat down and I'm like, when you guys did the interview, because you told me we don't work with everybody in every sphere. We generally just expand on that a little bit more. The thought process behind that.
So, we really wanted to stay local. That was kind of the thing. I like Virginia Beach too.
As they were national.
Yeah. In college and high school, I was like, oh, I can't wait to get out of Virginia Beach and like go somewhere else. And then I realized I like Virginia Beach being home and then traveling to other places. I guess the way that we really pick to work with people is just off of how much they value the content, like how much they see it as like an important pillar of their business. Because what usually ends up being an issue is they underestimate the time it takes to really like put into having a good marketing strategy, because you can grow a brokerage or a real estate team with zero marketing just off of good relationships. I certainly think it's exponential if you do that in conjunction with a good marketing strategy. So we usually like to find people like you guys who kind of appreciate and value and put all this time aside to be able to go into it, because we find that if we're charging for it and then we're putting all that effort in and it's one-sided, it's like we're not really giving the value that we want to put out. So kind of seeing how serious people are with where they want to take their business. And then secondly, cross competition is kind of rough in a small area. So I like to try and kind of respect, like, if there's another team that wants to work with us and they're asking for a podcast too, it wouldn't make sense if we had two podcasts, on the same block doing the same thing. So I like to kind of make it original too to everybody's goals that we work with.
That was a big one for me.
Everybody's trying to get Cade.
They are. But,
and for personal sanity, like, no offense, I don't want to work with like real estate agents every day, all day. Like,
I don't blame
yesterday we were out at a grass-fed beef farm and we do a cooking show. So we were out there filming. Fun. We got to eat the food. We got to hang out with the cows.
Yeah, I watched that. I'm a big fan of that one.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. I have a dentist that I work with, another real estate team in another area. We do like really funny parody videos with them. And then I work with really fun client is Prosper Insurance. Oh, yeah. They're really awesome. They've got great, I know big thing we were talking about earlier was culture. They have amazing culture. So yeah, I try and keep it diverse too, I think it's like good for just like my enjoyment, because I'm always trying to seek work of not just for the money or, for the enjoyment. I'm always trying to chase that. So for me, I like a diversity in who I work with too. So I've always wanted to work with a car dealership.
Yeah.
But, we haven't found a good relationship with. I'm very into cars, so I'd love to like.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm a car guy.
So but, look, you dealers out there, you need some.
But they're so old school, man, and that's the problem that I always come across is a lot of these businesses are old school, and even the people who are, you guys are gifted because you might not be in, might not be in your 20s in this right
Thanks.
now.
Oh, good. He's gonna
No, but I'm saying like
point out our
you
ages.
understand like the game kind of, and like, you know, the influence of like where things are going now
You
and how
have
people
to
are
embrace
thinking.
it. It's
Yeah.
not going away.
Yeah, but a lot of people like are so oblivious to it, but then they're not willing to like kind of listen into like
But
our
they're the ones who are
perspective
going
on
to
it.
be
So,
who are going to be our customers, you know,
Yeah.
moving forward.
yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, honestly. It's like you got to have some people who are falling behind, and then some people are moving forward. And, you know, I just try and partner with people who want to be the ones moving forward. You know, I think you guys have had a good platform, just giving people the tools and kind of the confidence and the knowledge of like, y'all can do this. Like, we're just people out here doing
Right.
things, making it
Yeah.
happen. So join the team, you know, and, you know, we put out good content. It's, you know, we're not, you know, upscale, polished, you know, fake. We're
That's
really
it.
raw.
God, we sound
So
horrible. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, I mean,
No,
look.
keeping
We
it
are real.
like
We are
keeping
real.
it-
That's
But
for
this,
sure.
you
Yes.
mentioned it earlier,
Yeah.
you know, you stepping outside of your comfort zone, and that's been working with you guys. I remember some of those early shoots, and you were not
Get
having
me
it.
out
Yeah.
of here.
She was not having it
please.
at all.
Yes.
But now, you know, just kind of
that
watching.
camera angle's way too low.
Yeah, she's
You're
all,
adding
"Get it
like
up."
10 pounds
yeah, I
to
better raise
me.
this one up already.
She-
We get
Not
in
you
the
were
trouble.
big on it.
What is too low
We
already.
get in trouble.
But no, you've definitely done it. So
Yeah.
big thing I'm excited about is as we move into the brokerage, you know, the opportunity for our agents to now get to work with you as well. you
Yeah,
know?
that'll be exciting. I always love my biggest excitement now is just in like the consulting and kind of strategy of the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty straightforward now for me doing it for a while to do the actual, you know, deliverables, the creative, the online stuff, all of that is kind of like just like a process. Now it's like exciting actually coming up with the game plan and like educating people on just the simplest things, like
Yeah.
Right.
setting up a Google business. Like there's so many people out there who don't have a Google business and get
Because
Google
y'all helped us
reviews
with
and-
a lot of that stuff, that things
Yeah.
we hadn't even thought
Yeah.
about.
Right.
You know, we're just
Another big thing that I've just been telling people, because sometimes, you know, you get calls and it's not always the best fit, you know, wherever they're at with their business or just starting out or something, to bring on a whole marketing team. But, you know, one thing I've been telling people, like if they're an agent or especially someone who gets a lot of business off of referrals, is just like add people as your friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like add everyone, even people who you've like seen, like in this, like say
Yeah.
we're in this room and there's like that guy who was just a guest, right? Like I would be smart for me to add him on Facebook after this, because he saw me, then he'll make a connection to
Yeah.
Facebook,
Right.
Yeah.
and then he'll see my content, and now he thinks of me as like a video person. So just like something as simple as adding people on Facebook, you know, can be like hugely impactful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I get excited to like help people. Like,
So
see all those
that's
things.
one thing that really excites me with the new partnership, you know, is as we've grown, you've kind of grown and spread your wing and stretched your wings, and as we add on, you know, new agents to the brokerages, new teams, you know, to be able to connect them with that and help them, it's going to be really big, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be
really
exciting.
excited for
have like a seminar just on like getting engagement on social media, or
Oh,
Yeah.
everybody
you know,
will sign up
yeah,
for
it's-
that.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah, right.
people my
It'd be
age.
really fun.
It's going to be big, and to watch it. So that's and that's actually something that has always just blown my mind. Because let me see, you had a birthday not too long ago, didn't you?
June is my birthday.
June's your
Kind
birthday,
of in the
okay.
middle of the road right now.
Because you were in your what?
I'm 24 right now, so I'll be 20.
Which blew my mind when
I
we
know,
first got
right?
together. I was like, wait, what?
How old are you?
It's like you were 22.
Your
Yeah,
mother.
right. It's gone
But-
by quick. It's gone
Yeah,
by quick.
yeah. So
Feels like I've been doing this for a long time, but it's only been, I think, like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Since I completely went all in.
Mhm.
I had picked up the camera, didn't know really anything about marketing except for like I learned all of it within the past 3 years. So
yeah.
it has been.
And
a
it was like
huge-
Cavelle was saying though, when you take your passion and turn it into your purpose, it's one of those
Yeah.
things that's kind of inevitable.
Yeah,
you know?
I gotta
Right.
I gotta be more like that guy, man. He had all these like things that he just said that were like bullet points like that. I was like, man, I
he's
gotta have those little
amazing.
stabbers
Yes.
like that.
Hey,
Right.
I'm telling you, he
You
Yeah.
always feel better after you talk to
Right?
Cavelle.
Yeah,
Been a-
he
been a-
does seem
Right.
like a likable
Yeah.
person.
big thing.
But it's awesome to watch your growth as well. I mean, especially
Yeah.
at your age. You just
It's been exciting.
It's
I feel
amazing.
old, honestly, though. So it's like, I don't
can
really,
I roll my
I don't
eyes
really,
a little more?
I
Right.
don't really
Right.
have like friends, honestly. Like not that people my age, they have like 50 people from high school they might still talk
Right.
with, or like they might be going to college still or whatever. But like for me, like most of the people I'm talking with you guys more than I probably have the people I would consider my friends
Yeah,
in
Right.
the
yeah.
past 3 weeks.
Yeah, but
right
it's amazing to find you're talented. You can't teach the gift that he
Some people just have
does.
it.
Oh gosh, you guys are.
No, I'm serious. It's an art.
I mean,
It's
even
definitely
sitting
an
here
art.
talking to you, it's cool. Honestly, I forgot where we were for a minute because these are the type of conversations we normally just
Yeah,
have
actually just have
sometimes,
organically.
Right,
So
yes.
I just forgot. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm holding the
I
mic.
get excited working
You're
with
very
agents too, because like I've kind of been exposed to real estate and all this stuff. So one big thing I've been thankful for with the marketing is like I work with so many different. So I know how like a dentist works. I know how home insurance is. I know how all these things kind of work, and it helps me in my personal life.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
so like you guys have had 20 years of experience, and it's like I kind of absorbed all those years like in just a short period of time, which makes it exciting.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've been able to start like doing real estate stuff, and I've been having fun doing that too.
That's
You guys have
awesome.
kind of been like
I watched that too. Yeah, as you-
inspiration to jump
So,
into it.
It's crazy. It's the relationships,
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end of the day, it's just learning how to navigate those, and at the same time, really embrace them,
Yeah.
And it just makes everything smooth and seamless. So
Yeah.
as we go, it's huge.
Yeah.
So
What outside of your client relationships or partners, do you guys have your own real estate journey you're kind of going on?
mine is I'm kind of like Cavelle. I'm all
Yeah.
in on the
All in
brokerage
on
right
brokerage.
now.
Hey,
I'm
that's-
all in on the agents.
Right.
Yeah.
10 years in, it was real client based for a long time, and my agents are now my clients.
Right.
Loosely.
Beforehand, were you like, did you scale up to a home that you wanted to be in, like, or did you just?
We actually scaled back down recently.
Oh, you scaled back down
we
recently.
went
Okay,
down.
okay.
Yeah, we went.
Your
we
kids
went
are
down.
leaving the house
just
now.
for the functionality of being able to focus. It's like
Yeah,
it's huge.
because I had I was like Cavelle. I had 6 kids. Now his are younger, mine are older. I have 2 in college. Another one's getting ready to graduate. And with myself and my wife, the way our careers have gone,
Yeah.
we actually went backwards. So I'm a big Gary Vee fan.
Yep,
and
yeah.
that was one thing. It was like, I think a lot of times we feel like as we're going on our journeys, we want to get bigger. But for one thing, we realized for the things that were really,
Yeah.
and this is going back to COVID actually helped propel us there because we did this in the middle of this pandemic, so it was like,
Yeah.
do we really go that route? And we made a decision. We said, we're going to go down so we
Yeah.
can focus on the things that really matter.
I do kind of feel like the real estate game, if you have a full-time focus, is like a linear thing, whereas scaling something like a brokerage or an actual company can be exponential in return and in just life enjoyment. I think a house, like flipping a house or getting into properties, it's kind of like one at a time kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And it does, but it's very
Yeah.
slow. It's like it's slow to get going a lot of times, unless you have I don't know, unless you're just like a crazy real estate guru. But I feel like for the most people, they'll flip a house. It might take a couple of years to get out of that one, or even if you do it every few months, it's still one. Whereas with a brokerage, you can go from 30 to 100 to 200
Right.
to
The growth is more
500.
exponential.
Yeah,
now,
it's quicker to
so
take off,
it's-
and then if you're focusing on those, and that's a big thing I've realized recently is like, because in the beginning when you're getting started, you're like, I'll take everything, I'll do all
I'll
of it,
do
give me all
whatever,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do weddings, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll start this side.
Those are
company with
probably
a
the
friend.
worst.
Yeah, and then like you start getting down to it, and you're like, what's kind of like, I guess, the 80-20 thing, where like what's getting 80% of of your work, where's that
your
coming
work,
from?
yeah.
What's your real focus? And then you find that when you go into that, it's like it pays off better when you focus more on the small amount of work that's generating the most. So I've kind of done that in the past year, like started to kind of just focus on really diving in on what generates most
Yeah.
for me. So
Smart.
I can tell. I've seen it. I've definitely seen that that change in in your work over the years, and so I'm excited.
Try to switch it
I'm
up.
excited.
Yeah.
So like Cavelle was saying, it's all about seasons. So as we head into this new season, it's just one of those things where we just, I just want you guys to stay up with us, you know.
Hey, let's keep this market going.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
That going, yep. Don't scare me now. If I log in one day and I see rates skyrocketing, I'm gonna be like, Ron, what's going on, man? What's going
Yeah,
on?
but we'll still help you navigate the whole
Right,
thing. We're still
no,
gonna help you navigate it,
everything.
you know.
That's
so.
when I think
that
stuff
what
like
goes
this,
up comes down.
Yeah,
so
that's
it
when I
will
think something like
eventually.
this really matters, though. Like this, what you're building, because in times of good, it doesn't really matter what
It's
you
easy.
do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you could
everybody
just
can do it
join
right
on,
now.
and yeah, I mean, you could literally know nothing about real estate and join in right now probably, and be able to make a couple bucks or have a few clients.
Right.
Yeah, when it's down, people are gonna go to those. The best are gonna be what's left around.
Yeah,
You know, so
so we definitely plan on still being here.
y'all
so
are the best.
It's gonna be
No.
a movie, you know.
Y'all are the
So
best.
hey, look, you guys, this is if you can't tell, we're kind of like don't want to have to
I'm
end it.
kind of sad.
We don't want
I
to have
think
to
we're
end
over
it.
an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh my
we
gosh.
are,
this is a
but
long
Yeah.
time. Well.
You
but
guys
who
are like,
cares? I mean, it's
whatever.
it. But so look, just stay up with us. You know, you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. At the Coastal Concierge Group is the handle. Check us out on our website, coastalconciergegroup.com. Stay tuned. You know, this may be the end of the podcast, but we have a lot of exciting things coming up. We're going to be doing a lot of big things. And we want y'all to ride with us just like you've been riding with us. So I guess with that, we gotta say it. We're out. So
Yeah.
peace, y'all.